Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my Zephyr's Mortgage in Motion. Super kind of chilly, cloudy day this morning, and I love it. It's always a good day for me and this little guy to get out and get our steps in. Today I wanted to talk about refinancing. This is a little date specific because rates have been really high for the last couple years. And then in early August, rates started coming down because the feds were like, yeah, we're finally going to do our rate cuts mid-September. It is now September the 5th, 2024. So just to be specific about that. So here in the next couple of weeks, when the feds meet, the thought is that we're going to see a rate cut by the Fed. Investors have kind of already started talking about, making things a little bit better for rates, maybe a little bit early before this Fed meeting. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens when there's an actual rate cut that comes through. Now, a lot of my clients are talking to me who purchased in the last couple of years or are in a higher interest rate loan that they know that they could probably do a little better with these rate cuts. They're asking me, well, what do you think? It's an election year. Inflation is still fairly high. There's some other numbers that are like, iffy, what's going to happen. And honestly, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball that says this is how much the rates are going to come down. I do listen to a lot of smart people though. And what I'm telling them is let's be prepared, right? To be able to be eligible to refinance most loans, you're going to have at least 6 months of on-time payments since your loan closed. So if you purchased 7 months ago and you're now on your 6th payment, that would be, you would be eligible. Now, we also have to have like a reason. We can't just like continually refinance because you get a quarter point change in your interest rate. I think it makes a lot of sense to have a quarter point better rate, but to refinance and the cost that comes with it doesn't always make sense. And we as a lender can't go be predatory, right? So we're going to look at your note rate. We're going to look at how long you've had your loan that you have now. Does it make sense? There's some loopholes around that, but for just simplicity purposes, I think knowing that we don't want to do a loan that you're not going to get enough benefit when and if rates come down, we wouldn't want to do it now. So what I'm telling people, let's talk about a threshold. Does a half a point, does a 3/4 point, does a whole 1 point lower on your interest rate make sense to be able to do that refinance? We can do a comparison of the cost of the title cost and if there needs to be an appraisal. We at our company do a thing where if you close loan with us, we've got some lender perks where we don't make you pay for our lender costs again and stuff like that. But there's cost to doing a refinance. So we need to make sure that you're actually going to have a benefit of it. Now, the cost, I kind of take, what is it going to take? What are the total closing costs? What is it going to cost you to do this refinance? And then I look at the interest rate. And if the interest rate isn't low enough that you can probably make back those closing costs in a decent amount of time, a couple years or so, I wouldn't do it then. I mean, everybody likes to have a lower interest rate, maybe a lower payment, but sometimes it doesn't always make sense. So that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this is yes, refinances are going to be up and coming again because we are seeing rates come down. They're a lot lower now than they have been in the last couple of years. Are they going to come down more? Very likely. How much more are they going to come down? Quite a bit more? Kind of maybe, yeah. We've got an election year that always tends to make things come down. So I'm going to tell people, get your application in. Let's make sure we know exactly what's going on with the loan you have now. Let's make sure we know exactly where our threshold is, what interest rate makes sense, how much are those closing costs going to be, and is it going to be time? So if that application is in and we see one of those rate cuts and maybe it's only going to be short-lived, I can pull the trigger. I can say, yep, here's where we're at. Let's do it. So this is kind of long-winded, I guess a little bit, but refinancing, yes, it makes sense to get that lower interest. If you're going to stay in your home over 7 years, typically a lower interest rate is going to make sense to be able to do that refinance. But if you're going to just stay in it for like 2 years and then your closing costs are pretty high, that interest rate drop may not have done you good enough to do the refinance. So I would love to be able to help people with this kind of determining what to do and have a good talk about where that threshold is. What is that interest rate that says, yep, let's do it? So please call, text, email, chat here, visit my YouTube page. That's where all of these videos are at. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to be able to help you. Again, this is Zephyr's Mortgage in Motion, and I'm out.